An MIT licensed open source model just did something no open model has done before. It beat Claude Fable 5, Opus 4.8, and GPT 5.5, taking the number one spot on Design Arena. The model is called GLM 5.2, and it is the first MIT licensed open model in history to lead both an OpenAI and an Anthropic flagship on SWE Bench Pro. And the timing could not be better, hitting the market just one day after Fable 5 got banned. Now, based on my 20 years of working in AI and computational intelligence, I am going to give you the facts that really matter. What GLM 5.2 actually does well, where it genuinely beats GPT 5.5 and Opus 4.8, where Opus and GPT 5.5 absolutely smash it, and under which circumstances should you even consider switching to this new model. Let us get straight into it. Let us start with what GLM 5.2 really is, because everything that comes ahead depends on this. Built by a Chinese lab Z.AI, GLM 5.2 is a 753 billion parameter mixture of experts model with a 1 million token context window, significantly up from 200,000 tokens on the previous GLM 5.1 version. It can output up to 128,000 tokens in a single turn, which is the longest single turn generation from any model I am aware of. It comes in two reasoning modes, high and max, so you can balance speed against depth depending on the task. And it is released under a fully permissive MIT license, which means anyone can download the weights from Hugging Face or Model Scope, run it on their own hardware, modify it, and use it commercially, all without any restriction. And here is the most astonishing part about this new model. GLM 5.2 is listed at $1.20 per million input tokens and $4.10 per million output tokens. For comparison, Claude Opus 4.8 costs $5 input and $25 output. GPT 5.5 costs $5 input and $30 output. So GLM 5.2 is roughly 6 to 7 times cheaper than the proprietary models on input and 6 to 7 times cheaper on output. Z.AI also built a new architecture called Index Share, which reuses a single lightweight indexer across every 4 sparse attention layers, cutting per token computation by roughly 2.9 times at the full million token context. And that is the underlying engineering reason it can be so much cheaper to run. But cheaper means nothing if the output is mediocre. So I ran the same prompt through GLM 5.2 and Opus 4.8. Same task, same words. What came back from GLM genuinely caught me off guard. That is next. To create an honest view, I want to organize this by what I found genuinely impressive versus what needs caveats, because mixing them together is where hype gets out of control. Starting with front-end development, and I have to be direct about this, GLM 5.2 is currently ranked number 1 on Design Arena with an ELO score around 1,300, surpassing even Fable 5. That is not a self-reported benchmark from GPU, that is a live competitive leaderboard where models go head-to-head on real design tasks and real users vote on the results. For an open source model to sit at the top of that board above every proprietary model is genuinely new territory, and the demos back it up. When you ask GLM 5.2 to build a landing page, the output comes with working scroll triggers, proper shader backgrounds, clean typography, and a cohesive design language across multiple pages. I watched a side-by-side comparison where GLM 5.2 and Opus 4.8 were given the exact same landing page prompt. Both produced strong results. It was honestly difficult to tell the difference, but GLM 5.2 generated its version for about 6 cents. Opus 4.8's version cost around 50 cents. Similar quality, 6 times cheaper. The web cloning capability is also strong. When prompted to clone the Airbnb website, GLM 5.2 recreated all the major elements of the landing page and even built a working photo panel that displays property images when you click on a listing. That level of interactive detail is something most models miss entirely, and that is just the website. What it does with games is where I started questioning whether I was still looking at an open source model. On game generation, GLM 5.2 produced a dungeon crawler with functioning movement, mob encounters, collectible items, keys that unlock doors, and potions. The level of gameplay detail in a single generation exceeded what Opus 4.8 produced on the same prompt. It also generated a Minecraft clone with a working inventory system, block placement, break animations, and full underground cave systems. Cave systems that you can actually explore. I have not seen that from any other model on a single prompt generation. A Spotify clone came out with a working home screen, search functionality, properly generated components, and it actually played music. A macOS clone included a working Finder app, a Spotlight search bar, dark mode toggle, a chess game, a Sudoku game, and an AI assistant, all from one generation. Now, everything I have shown you so far is 2D, flat screens, flat pages, flat games. What GLM 5.2 does in 3 dimensions is a different conversation entirely. On 3D generation, it built an interactive watch model where you can rotate it and click on different parts to see labeled descriptions of each mechanism. A solar system simulation with accurately represented planets, including Jupiter's red spot and an asteroid belt. And a procedural tree growth animation with ambient lighting and accurate shadow casting that was described by the tester as the best procedural tree generation from any model, including Fable 5. Now, these are genuinely strong results. But before anyone declares this the Fable killer, there is a benchmark picture that tells a more complicated story.
And as we move to the most crucial portion of the video, just hit that like button and press the lonely subscribe button as well.
Here is where I want to be careful because the benchmarks tell 2 stories at once, and most coverage is only giving you one of them. On Deep Suite, GLM 5.2 scores 46.2%, leading GLM 5.1 by a wide margin across coding, reasoning, and general knowledge. On Frontier Sway, it scores 74.4%, which puts it just behind Opus 4.8. An open source model getting that close to Opus on a Frontier reasoning benchmark is a real result. On Terminal Bench and SWE Bench Pro, GLM 5.2 is either beating or coming close to proprietary models like GPT-5.5 and sitting near Opus 4.8 territory. It beats Gemini 3.1 Pro across almost every benchmark outright, which is a strong showing given that Gemini 3.1 Pro is Google's current frontier offering. On the World of AI benchmark, GLM 5.2 is currently ranked 5th across all frontier models. It does exceptionally well on front-end development, 3D generation, and game development specifically. Now, these numbers look incredible on paper, and if I stop the video right here, you would walk away thinking GLM 5.2 is untouchable. But I am not going to do that to you, because the next part changes the picture. GLM 5.2 has clear weaknesses in debugging, complex reasoning chains, and agentic task execution. The model is not as reliable when you need it to hold a long logical thread, catch subtle errors in existing code, or operate autonomously across many dependent steps. Those are exactly the areas where Opus 4.8 and Fable 5 have their deepest advantages. And here is the nuance that most of the GLM beats everything videos are skipping. Being ranked number 1 on Design Arena for front-end visual quality is not the same as being the best overall model. Design Arena tests one thing: how good the output looks to human voters. It does not test whether the code behind that output is clean, maintainable, or production ready. It does not test debugging. It does not test multi-file architecture. It does not test long horizon autonomous work. And this is the part I wish more channels would say out loud, because it changes the decision you are about to make. GLM 5.2 is genuinely the best open source model available right now, and on specific tasks like front-end design and visual generation, it is competitive with or better than the proprietary giants. But it is not a full replacement for Opus 4.8 or GPT 5.5 across every use case. Treating it as one will lead to frustration the moment you need deep debugging or extended autonomous reasoning. And that distinction matters because it changes how you should actually think about using this model. So before I tell you who should use GLM 5.2, you need the full picture. Because the 2 models it is being compared against are not just benchmark numbers. They are genuinely strong at things GLM 5.2 cannot touch yet. Let's have a look. Starting with the people's favorite, Claude Opus 4.8. Well, Opus is the model you reach for when honesty matters more than speed. It is 4 times less likely than its predecessor to ship code with unflagged flaws, which means when it finishes a task, you can trust the output more than with almost any other model. It catches architectural mistakes in your prompts before you even notice them. It will tell you when your plan is wrong instead of cheerfully building the wrong thing. Where Opus really separates itself is deep multi-file engineering, refactoring a large code base, restructuring component dependencies, reviewing pull requests across dozens of files. These are the tasks where Opus consistently produces cleaner, more maintainable code than anything else available. It also handles long context work across its full 1 million token window with strong retrieval accuracy, which matters for anyone working with large documents, legal contracts, or entire repositories in a single session. Its math and reasoning capabilities are also in a different league. A 96.7% score on the USA Math Olympiad, jumping 27 points in a single generation. For researchers, academics, and anyone doing complex quantitative work, Opus is the first choice, and it is not particularly close. And it costs $5 input and $25 output per million tokens, which is expensive compared to GLM 5.2, but still cheaper than GPT 5.5 on output. So that is the model that catches your mistakes before you make them. The next one does the opposite. It runs so fast it sometimes builds the wrong thing before you can stop it. And that speed is exactly why some people prefer it. Now, GPT 5.5. Yes, GPT 5.5 is the executor. You give it a well-defined plan and it carries that plan through with a speed and commitment that no other model matches. It does not second guess. It does not pause to ask 7 clarifying questions. It picks a direction and runs. Where GPT 5.5 genuinely shines is terminal and command line work. Shell scripting, log parsing, system automation, anything that lives in the terminal. It handles these workflows more fluently than Opus or GLM 5.2. And with the Codex harness around it, that terminal strength becomes even more powerful. Because Codex adds goal mode, app shots, and standalone web search directly into the coding environment. GPT 5.5 also has the strongest long context reasoning improvement of any recent model. Its multi-document retrieval accuracy doubled in a single generation, which makes it genuinely useful for processing large volumes of varied documents. The weakness, and it is a real one, is the sycophancy problem. Tom's Guide tested both GPT 5.5 and Opus 4.8 with deliberately bad ideas to see which model would push back. Opus won all 7 tests. GPT 5.5 agreed with almost everything. It praised bad strategies, validated flawed logic, and told the tester what they wanted to hear. For any work where being wrong has consequences, that is a serious limitation. That is the trade-off most people do not realize they are making when they pick GPT 5.5 over Opus. Speed and confidence or honesty and caution. You cannot have both in the same model right now. It costs $5 input and $30 output, making it the most expensive of the 3 on output tokens. So now we have the complete picture. GLM 5.2 wins on front-end design and cost. Opus 4.8 wins on deep engineering, honesty, and reasoning. GPT 5.5 wins on terminal execution and raw speed. 3 different models, 3 different strengths, and the smart move is knowing which one to reach for on which task. Which brings us to exactly that question. Now, this is really the most important part. And let me make this practical, because the real value of GLM 5.2 is not in replacing your primary model. It is in knowing exactly when to reach for it. If you are building front-end interfaces, landing pages, web apps, or visual demos, GLM 5.2 is now the obvious first choice. The quality matches or beats the proprietary models, and the cost is 6 to 7 times lower. There is no reason to spend 50 cents on Opus for a landing page when GLM 5.2 produces equivalent or better visual output for 6 cents. That one is obvious. The next use case is the one most people are not thinking about yet. If you are doing game prototyping or interactive demos, GLM 5.2 produces some of the richest single prompt game generations available from any model. The dungeon crawler, the Minecraft clone with cave systems, the Spotify clone with working audio. If rapid visual prototyping is your workflow, this model earns its spot. If you are doing serious back-end engineering, complex debugging, or long autonomous coding sessions, Opus 4.8 or GPT 5.5 through Codex are still the stronger choices. GLM 5.2's weaknesses in reasoning chains and debugging are real, and hitting them mid-project is more expensive in time than the money you saved on tokens. If you are cost-constrained and running high-volume AI workloads, GLM 5.2 changes the math entirely. At $1.20 input and $4.10 output, versus $5 and $25 for Opus, the savings at scale are not marginal. They are the difference between a viable business model and one that bleeds money on inference costs. The recommended approach, based on everything I have seen, is to use GLM 5.2 with the high reasoning mode for most tasks. It gives you the best balance of quality, cost, and speed. Save Max mode for the genuinely hard problems where you need the full capability. You can access GLM 5.2 through the Z.ai chatbot directly through the API or through platforms like OpenRouter that give you access to the model alongside every other option. The open weights are available for download if you want to host it yourself. So, here we are. By the way, which is your favorite AI? Is it Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or some other? And do you really think these new Chinese AI models would be competing against the established flagship models in the long run? Do share your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to AI That Works and never miss any crucial update in the ever evolving AI arena. I'll see you in the next one with some exclusive GPT 5.6 leaks.